Sorry.
Looks like we have one more showing up. Thank you.
Here's Julie.
You're live on YouTube.
Christie, I need you to run the meeting tonight.
I can't run.
Okay. All right, you want to call the meeting to order on me?
Call this meeting of the Kearney Park Board to order. This time we need to do roll call.
All members are present. Absent is Connie, Nick, and Dan, and Lisa is joining.
Yep, I'm on.
There's
Lisa.
Yeah. If I can get a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting, do we need to go through them? Or I guess we didn't really have meetings previously.
Right.
We didn't have enough for a quorum, so we'll have to go through this. There are no minutes to approve.
From the May 17th.
From the May 17th. Okay, very good.
Anyone have any questions from the May 17th meeting?
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes. I second that.
Minutes are approved.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very well, passes.
Okay.
Public requests and petitions.
We have none on the agenda unless Larry has a request or a petition. Okay.
Proceed with old business.
Go ahead, Rhino.
So we've, let's jump right into it. We've wrapped up our youth sports at this point. We are, again, I feel like I'm beating a drum every meeting, but we've had record attendance this year, record signups. Almost, I think we determined like 10.4% of the population is in some sort of rec sport in the spring in Kearney, which is phenomenal.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're super, super excited about that. We're in signups right now for our fall stuff, so that's going to include soccer, flag football, and volleyball. Signups are going well for that. Naturally, we have the pickleball league running right now. We had planned on doing the youth pickleball league, but just didn't get a lot of traction with it. I think probably honestly because of the summer heat and
Kids are in softball.
there's at a certain point
on.
you're gonna cannibalize other sports, which is what we ran into a lot, frankly, with our volleyball program. When we started offering flag football and soccer, our volleyball had been established for 15, 20 years at that point. But we started offering these new sports, and we'd see players literally go from our volleyball to these other sports, which is fine. We want them to do whatever they want to do, but at a certain point, you are going to start cannibalizing the sports that you're already offering. So, like I said, everything's going good. We are looking forward to doing the youth pickleball league once we get the new facility in and everything. And I don't think we'll have any problem at all with signups at that point, honestly. So that's kind of it for spring sports.
Anything else on old business, youth ball, soccer? Anything we need to talk, because that encompassed in.
Yeah, that's all that's all the youth sports, yeah.
Okay. Anything else on pickleball we need to talk about? I will say, from my perspective of it, we've had the most excitement involved in the competitive league that we've ever had, with probably the most competitive league I've ever seen involved. It's an incredible, incredible play.
What would you attribute that to? Just word getting out about our league?
Word getting out, and that's a community that's somewhat tight-knit. As they move up the ranks, they tend to go and play where other people of that quality play. And we've always had a little bit of that in our leagues, but we've got some significant players playing right now. It's a lot of fun. And I think once we get the courts, we'll be able to take it up to the level of the people that are doing a lot of travels and doing a lot of tournaments around, and get some of the next level player playing at the court some too.
That's one thing, you know, Greg and I have spoken privately quite a bit about these new courts, and, you know, one thing, and Eric as well, obviously. It's one thing we've always agreed on, though, is that, yes, we're going to be drawing in all these incredible players from all over, but we're always going to have courts dedicated to recreation play.
Yeah.
So mom and dad come in with their kids, they want to play, you know, they can. I think that's where tennis got it wrong in the long run. The level of accessibility wasn't there because you'd only have 1 or 2 or 3 tennis courts at a time. And when people are playing, they're almost always full. And so it didn't seem accessible for families and specifically kids to just come out and play. And I think that's where pickleball's got it right. So that's definitely something we're going to put as a priority.
While we're on the subject of the pickleball, we had a couple more people call in and request our
Yep.
very, very beginner set wood paddles. So
We're getting used.
not only is the,
Good.
you know, the regulars that are out there playing and so on and so forth, but people have driven by and gained an interest in it and called here to City Hall. And in fact, Ryan last week gave out another set. So
Excellent.
hopefully they can.
Sorry.
I would say there's not a week that there's not a week that doesn't go by that someone doesn't stop by the courts and inquire about the league too.
That's great.
And most of the time they're new and beginners. And, you know, I think one of the things that, you know, we can expand the league offerings obviously and go to a more true beginner and advanced social type league, because we've definitely got both those players in the same league now. But anyway, I think there's gonna be some improvements, but definitely we want to have 2 courts, 3 courts, 4 courts, whatever it is, dedicated
Yep.
to open play as much as possible. And looking around the city, those places that have done that, those courts are well used.
So that's great.
That concludes old business. New business?
Our maintenance in the
Thanks,
parks have a little bit slowed down with the heat. The grass not growing near as much, but we're still having, you know, with the mowing aspect of it, but still doing some things out in the parks. And this fall, we're going to be taking the dugouts off of the small baseball fields. They're needed to be replaced, and so that'll be a major project for Ryan and I and Ray this fall. We really don't want to do it right now when it's 100 degrees, start taking those off, but that's one thing that we wanted to do last year, and we're going to make it a point to get it done this year.
Yeah, we just ran out of time last year.
And so we're going to put, instead of the shingles on, we're going to put metal, you know, we'll put the rough trusses and things down and then put the metal over the top, and it'll look nice. They'll last.
Long lasting.
Yeah, long lasting. So that's one thing that we're going to be doing. Lions Park, we're constantly down there, and that's, you know, every morning those trash cans are absolutely full. That means there's a lot of kids. Speaking of
I had 18 over the weekend.
18 bags.
Yeah, 18 bags, which is 5-gallon bags.
Yeah, so it's getting used extensively.
We
One
always
thing
count.
that we do know from last year, and I anticipate Mayor telling us again, don't know for sure, but it's all dependent on the heat. If we have another heat stretch like we had last year, we usually close it Labor Day. And last year there was, like I said, the extensive heat, so we kept it open longer. And I would anticipate, don't know for sure, if we do have the same thing, we'll probably keep it open, but that's all dependent on the heat and what Mayor wants us to do. But if that's the case, so be it, and we'll just winterize it, you know, a couple weeks, 3 weeks later. So anyway, anything else, Ryan, that you think of on?
I did want to bring up, and major kudos to our guy Ray. Him and our summer help boys repainted the entire bathrooms on field 1, 2, and 3 at Mac Porter, and they look phenomenal. They was much needed, and they took it upon themselves to do it, and it
Great
looks
ball
great.
paint off.
Yeah, it was hard work on hot days, but they got it done, and it looks awesome. So I wanted to be sure and bring that up.
They're also fixing the hand, naturally we have the paper towels and things of that nature, but we're repairing the hand dryers in there, so in case people don't like to use the hand towels, they can use the blow dryers and get a couple of parts, but we're getting those back. But yeah, Ryan, as Ryan mentioned, they do look great. They were starting to get run down, so that's all taken care of, and we'll continue. We still have to continue to spray the fields, because when they're not used as much, you start getting the weeds popping through them. And even though there's other teams practicing, we don't want that. We don't want a bad look on how things are looking out there. So
Any other issues at Lions Park, or is everything been okay there?
No, I mean, yeah, knock on wood, that's the one park we really don't want to have issues in, but there haven't been too many this year, honestly. There's a couple minor vandalism things that
have been taken care, or are in the process of being taken care of. And Mayor had asked us to look for the security cameras that we have down there. It saved us twice now.
Yep, they paid for themselves already.
And we've got a lot of equipment now in the maintenance shed out at Jesse James Park. And Mayor asked us to get some security cameras and an alarm system for that building. It's out there at night. We don't lock that gate anymore that goes back to the dog park, because people go there in the evening after 5 o'clock or whatever. So if it's dark before 11 o'clock, when the police go out there, you know, they could bang the door in, cut the metal, no one's back there, and make off with some pretty nice equipment. So that's why we're having that done. So
Yeah, we're also gonna put more outside lighting on the building itself.
Yep.
So that'll be.
And that's the maintenance shed there just next to the dog park, right?
Uh-huh. Yep. We just have to get 3 bids. We've got the one right now that we use from our security company here in town. So we'll get a couple more bids and choose the one we think is the best and or lowest, and go with that. So I anticipate that coming this fall.
I just going to make a recommendation for, in the meanwhile, you know, since people are aware that that thing is not secured, just sport cameras or deer cameras or something like that can be very inexpensive and offer at least a little bit of a protection to capture a vehicle or persons that would be in that area.
We have some security measures up right now.
But we don't like to tell.
Yeah, we're not gonna broadcast on YouTube, but we do have security measures up.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ryan, amphitheater?
Amphitheater,
on
yeah.
July 3rd.
So July 3rd went great, with the exception of we had to launch the fireworks about 20 minutes early. 30?
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes early. There was a big cell coming through, and it looked like it was going to hit us about 9:30. Fortunately, it never actually hit us, but the lightning would have caused us to call off the show, honestly. Technically, we would have supposed to have done that. So it's a good thing we ended up launching them early. Kate Stevens' concert at the amphitheater went really well.
What was the attendance at that?
Oh, good God. Really, really big.
Yeah,
we
don't do the
Yeah.
car thing. We used to measure the cars that would come in, and we haven't done that.
On average, around 6,000.
Oh, that's
Last
awesome.
time we
That's,
watched.
yeah. When was the last time you had a crowd like that out there? That's good.
Yeah.
The place was just packed. We had the Carney Mo football team, the Knights of Columbus, parking vehicles for us, and they took care of the pond parking lot. And the Carney Mo youth football team, it's the new one, not the older Pop Warner group, but it's a new tackle football group. They park the cars in the carnival parking lot. We call it the carnival parking lot for Jesse James Festival, where the carnival
Right.
sets up. And then the RV parking lot, and they were parked in the RV parking lot, clear over the hill, all the way down.
So no issues to report with that event?
Nothing major.
Nothing major.
Good, minor stuff, good.
Yeah. And then
There's
we went
always
out.
gonna be some little stuff, but, and frankly, I was actually really proud of Carney. You know, Eric and I and all of our staff go out the next day to pick up trash.
On the
like,
4th.
Right away, on the 4th. And I don't remember it being that light in a long time.
No,
That's positive.
At the park.
At the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of people had, we saw trash bags that were
Yeah,
sitting there.
they
That's
policed their
great.
areas really well.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I'd rather pick up 100 trash bags than going around and picking up
Individual.
each individual thing you had that night, you know? And I mean, and we picked up a ton, but we've seen it way, way worse before. So
Yeah.
we were actually really pleasantly surprised.
I walked over to the playground area just to see the area over there. That place looked like an anthill. All those kids playing on there, it was just incredible. And the length of that playground, there was just chairs and tents lined up to watch the fireworks from right there. It was just,
On the east side.
yeah, on the east side of the playground. It was just great. So many people over there. So they were all over the entire park. It was great. Good turnout.
So also amphitheater related, this weekend, we have one of our marquee concerts for the summer. It's Shooting Star with Missouri. It'll be a really fun show. Ticket sales are going well. Hopefully the heat doesn't scare people away at the last minute. I mean, generally, the way our ticket sales usually work, the last 3-4 days, we sell about 60 to 70% of the tickets we're gonna sell. I mean, we just sell that last few days. Don't know what's gonna happen with the heat, but we're optimistic. We have a lot of traction on social media with it. As far as the ads and the engagement goes, it's probably one of the bigger ones we've done in a while because it hits that Facebook target market perfectly. I'm not gonna say the age, but that age market perfectly. Sorry, guys. Those are your core Facebook users, and the metrics will bear that. So it is what it is. Luckily, like I said, yeah, a lot of traction on social media, a lot of email engagement, posters, banners, all that stuff. I think we're gonna have a good show. It'll be a fun time.
Is there any
regardless.
additional protocols that you guys are gonna take for like heat-related injury, like anything like that, or like
Well, the fire
extra?
department's always on site,
So,
so
We have the.
we kind of defer to their
EMTs on site
expertise
and the
most of the
ambulance.
time.
Yep.
But,
and if there's gonna be any cooling stations or anything like that, or
Don't come on stage if you're looking for a cooling station. It's
Yeah,
the
I-
hottest place in the whole park.
that's the nice thing about the pavilion is, it's a nice shade structure. And now, those trees at the top of the hill have matured. It's really nice and shady up there.
Yeah.
That's one of the better places. Plus you get a nice breeze. But- So that's it as far as amphitheater goes.
We have sent Steve Case, the topo of Hall Park. He is working on that right now. We will be sending that in August to see if we can get some grant money for that project. Basically, that's the only thing that I have to update because he hasn't called and asked us for any more information, because when we first started talking about this, from way back when, Brian and I had just, a whole binder of all the information, and we just gave him all of that, the drawings, everything we needed. So he's putting that together, and we'll get that sent off to Jeff City. And hopefully we get some money to help us do that project, because that project is long overdue. Probably 10 years in that ballpark. So we want that project to go forward. I'd say it's about 8 years, don't you think?
Somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, it's a priority, it was part of the use tax initiative, so.
Right.
That's forcing it to be a priority now, which is great.
Right.
Which is I think part of the reason it was on the Use Tax Initiative.
And I think the seniors, once it is done, will really enjoy that. For one reason, I think the outdoor recreation equipment will really enhance the park, and those type of people that want some exercise, don't really like to go to a gym, will still be able to use those machines and help their physical fitness.
Remind everybody where that's gonna be.
It is, actually, it's right on Highway 92, catty corner from the fire station. It's a great location. There's already a sidewalk there, but then there'll be a walking trail in there, and just different things for, it's more serene type of a park, but yet they can enjoy their park. So we've done a lot of things for the kids, and we want to help the seniors out as well.
Are there any services that provide transportation for seniors or elderly?
So the Oats bus would be the big one.
The Oats bus,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
my fear, is
Oats
that
on-
people would maybe want to participate, or.
If we get word out to
this
them, I
park
think
and
they would be willing to take people to it.
Good, I was unaware of that.
Yeah, Oats bus is a big deal.
I've seen it, I just
Yeah.
really didn't,
Yeah.
you know, you see it in passing, I just didn't know what services they provided.
Cobalt Courts.
Yes, you now have the updated version in front of you. We received this last, on the 18th.
What are we talking about first, so I can put it on the screen for Lisa?
Just do the main
She has the whole thing.
drawing, that way we can
Is
show
that a new
them the
one?
main drawing.
No, that's the, those are the old ones.
Right,
I looked at it on my phone, so.
here,
There you go.
there it is.
Thanks.
There you go. We did the revised drawings, and we will have to do a retaining wall, which is on the east side of the courts, where Ryan is pointing right there. I think, as we discussed last meeting, a little bit, I think that will be it. A retaining wall similar to what is down at Lions Park, and you see a lot of people sitting on that.
It'll
Whether,
add to the aesthetic.
yeah, and
I
it
really
will
do.
be a great addition, and it'll help with the slope as well.
Is that for erosion purposes?
It is.
I had one player who looked at the plans make a suggestion of a path or a walkway from where the courts will be moved to, up to that walking trail in order to access the restrooms that way. He suggested that he could see most players walking through the grass that way as opposed to going back through the parking lot that way.
It's probably true.
I don't think.
I understand.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any more changes, but here's the thing. They might just have to walk around through the parking lot because of that. There is a concrete sidewalk on the west side of the skate park.
Yeah.
And it goes around, down, and right to the sidewalk to the restrooms. The reason why I don't think, not only because of cost, we don't want to put water lines and things of that nature underneath concrete, which we are adding
As
now,
much as possible. And then
the water line for the new drinking fountain that's down there.
I mean, you would partially, you'd be pretty close to the ditch right here too. So, I mean, it's not doable, but.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Right.
Where did you want the sidewalk at?
Well, it was Jason that suggested it, and he was just mentioning that he could see people walking from here up to the trail to go to the restroom instead of coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Can you get, this is the fenced area around it, can you even get out of the fence here? Or do you have to go
there's
in
no
and out?
fence, I don't believe,
No.
Oh,
around this. So this is all the 20-foot slab that runs the length of the course.
Okay,
And so, obviously if that retaining wall ends here,
right.
it's.
Yeah.
I wonder,
I don't know what the topography.
I wonder if that's
exactly.
ADA compliant.
On that slope,
That, because, I mean, that's the whole reason we have this zigzag here.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm just,
That's
even
the only thing that would scare me about that is, 'cause, yeah, just doing a straight shot would make a lot of sense down through the trail. But,
in my head, it almost looks like something we could go back after the fact and do some pavers or some nice stepping. I don't know, but yeah, I'm sorry. But,
we're,
I yeah.
yeah, I don't.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention, that was all.
We'll bring it up. I mean,
But
right.
I don't want to see the project delayed simply for something like that, I would say, though.
I can tell you that I met with Dr. Emily Miller today at central office. Because with this, we talked about having to get transfer of deed because it's an LWCF grant area. They are drawing up a letter of support and donating that land in lieu of us doing the drainage area. And then we have to draw up a letter to LWCF saying we will keep our portion, which is 4.16 acres, that area right there that we're talking about. We will keep that area in the LWCF forever. And that's one of the stipulations to transfer LWCF ground to another LWCF ground, or
And
it wouldn't happen.
extremely lucky that they're not requiring us to do another environmental study. That would delay this by probably 6 months.
It wouldn't start until spring, guaranteed. So
I mean, I've seen them go up to a year. I mean, it just depends on where exactly it is, but I don't think there's any Native American burial grounds or anything like that here, so.
Okay. And I saw on this set of drawings, they got the lighting, the Musco lighting actually on these drawings, and the
Yes.
foot candles look good.
yes,
Everything looks good. They even got the foot candles on the skate park, which
right.
are comparable. I presume that's fine for the skaters.
One thing that we did change that was from last year or last time, and Christie brought it to our attention, that we were just gonna do the 2-inch overlay on the skate park. Ryan and I went out there and we were looking at that. We said, if we spend $1.7 million on this project, and that skate park is cracking after a year, and it won't be just the minute ones, it will be, because that ground is just terrible.
Yeah.
That's why they have to go down and stabilize the whole area again. We'll get crucified. And we talked with Jim about that. And so what they're doing, and that was on the very back page of your, of the cost. We are
We're
demoing,
gonna post tension skate. park.
yeah, we are demoing everything out there, and we're gonna do post-tension concrete for that. And
Are you still gonna reuse the existing fencing for the skate park?
no,
So you're gonna, all new
Yeah,
fencing?
all new
I
everything.
think that's smart, guys. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we
It's gonna
can't
look
reuse
better.
We
It's gonna,
can't, I
yeah.
mean, that was, so in the original plans, it was all new. In the revised plans, somehow that got changed to not new. We're like, whoa, and Christie was the one that pointed it out, right? And we're like, whoa, we can't reuse that fence. Have you seen that fence? I mean,
the posts are out of the ground, like
I'm like,
this.
we're not, no.
Yeah.
So we took pictures and showed Jim and said, if we're gonna do this,
Yeah.
it would look,
There'd be a black
first
eye
it'd
on the
look
project.
horrible.
Right.
Eyesore, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and then, down the line, say, 5-6 years, we decide we need even more courts. Well, that's post-tension concrete already.
Right.
So it wouldn't be a huge stretch.
enough for formal courts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we
I mean,
move
that'd
the
be
skate park somewhere else,
In the future, if a group raises enough money to do an awning or something, that would be a great place for it.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But thanks for pointing that out, because when you see plan after plan after plan, It all looks the same, and then it wasn't, and we got it changed. So it added almost 200,000 to the project, but in the long run,
Have to do it.
we have to do that.
Make it right.
Make it right, because
Now's the time.
change orders would have bumped that up another 15%. We would have went back and said, this isn't right, do a change order, 15%, you just might as well tack that on. So anyway, that's one thing. When I was talking with Emily today, she is going to put us on the August agenda for the school district. And in those plans, there's the grading plans that we're gonna be taking care of that drainage issue at the baseball field, and that's how we're getting this land. And I think it was like 88,000 or something. It's on this McConnell cost sheet. I think that's what it was, around 88.
81.
81, okay, 81, yeah, 82. So she was gonna make note of that tomorrow at their school board meeting and tell them that we were on the agenda for the August meeting and go over the plan. And she asked today when we thought we would start. I gave her a rough idea. I said, October, as a rough idea, because this will go to the Board of Aldermen for approval, sign the documents, and whenever they can start, they'll start. But like I said, all this goes for approval to the Board of Aldermen, and I would imagine that'll be at the next board meeting. So, because Jim's been out with his knee, and he comes back tomorrow.
So everything is in order then to present to the Board of Aldermen, is that what I
Yes.
understand?
There are some incidentals that are not included on this.
I'll go ahead.
Go ahead, Ryan.
One of which being the bleachers. And Eric and I have actually solicited bids on that today. We are planning / looking at 2-row bleachers with,
Back to back.
yeah, back to back. So those are gonna be 36 inches each.
36 inches deep?
Yeah, deep. And we have 16-foot aisles. So, and actually, let me pull this up.
Yeah.
Lisa, so we have 16-foot aisles. These will be 36 inches deep, so that'll leave us plenty of walking room. It'll leave us like 10 feet. So it'll leave us 5 feet on each side for the length of the bleachers. We're looking at 15-foot bleachers. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'd have 12.
12.
Yeah, 12 sets of bleachers.
So it's gonna cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 15 grand, and that's not included in this cost. We believe that we can get a better price by sourcing this ourselves.
For the upcharge that they would tack on.
These are aluminum. It's one thing we'd have to check on. Pretty certain we can't just mount them to the ground willy-nilly with post-tension concrete.
Yeah, I was wondering.
So we're gonna
But
talk to
they're
them
aluminum.
about that.
So, yeah, that's one thing we're gonna see clarification on. So we'll see.
The other one was, there was one more. Oh, the drinking fountain figure is not included in that either.
And that's gonna be, what'd that turn out to be, like 2 grand?
About 4.
Oh, yeah, we got the extra.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that last time, I think. Well, some of you were, we had a jug filling station
Yeah.
actually for like big Gatorade jugs and stuff for tournaments. There's also a hose bib on the inside that we'll be able to unlock if we need access to that, run a hose off of it. There's bottle filling stations as well as, drinking fountain, regular drinking fountain, and then the pad. Yeah, so basically it's like the one we have at Lions Park plus a couple things.
Right.
So,
What about outbuildings? We talked about that.
about what?
Some sort of outbuilding or storage, are we looking at trying to?
That will be in addition.
In addition as well.
Yeah, we'll likely source that locally.
Right. And the cameras are Are we good with the security camera system? Is that
Still waiting
something-
on a quote for that.
Right.
Okay.
That'll also be an addition.
Right. So we're looking for those sorts of two.
Yeah, we'll probably be right at 2.
I will say, I have received a number of inquiries from individuals and organizations about how they could possibly take advantage or use the new courts, whether it be to run tournaments or leagues or individual events, no-do and different type of events that go on around. I think over the winter, you know, one thing I think you and I talked about, I don't know if this is the time to bring it up, but getting a committee of some sort of, you know, a few individuals to, one, start to consider some of that type of thing, what we need to do in terms of signage and you know, how we're gonna handle inquiries as far as everything from fundraising tournaments to significant tournaments, et cetera.
Yeah, what I brought up to Greg and I were talking on the phone sometime last week, and what I brought up to him was my concern that, you know, outside of really 2 people, we don't have super avid pickleballers on the park board. Eric and I, you know, are like fringe pickleballers at best, you know. So we're not going to know. I have a feeling we're going to get bombarded with people wanting to put on events and fundraisers and this, that, and the other. We're not going to know, you know, what type of events we should be taking on and that sort of thing initially. So I thought it might be prudent to recruit a few of the pickleballers.
I would say at max 3.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were thinking. Just to, and have it be an informal committee that we can bounce ideas off of, and then take it back to the board for policy.
Because you guys will, once a policy is, then we will need a policy.
Yeah.
But on record, that way if someone says they want to rent this for a fundraiser, here's the policy, we'll email it to them, the rules, the regulations, and so on and so forth. So,
And one thing we discussed, we don't have to necessarily reinvent the wheel on all this. You guys have policies in place for rentals now, and whether it be ball fields or structures or whatever. I think, anyway, we can get into the details of it, everything from, I think there's some, if we were to look at court rentals or something like that, there's some online systems that I've seen that seem to work pretty well. Don't know how much they cost or anything like that. I'm just thinking.
I think
about
we
it.
can probably handle that with our system. I put a lot of time into, this last spring, actually, into, and last fall, into our ball field rentals, and this spring into our shelter
Okay.
rentals. I put a lot of time into our shelter rentals.
And, yeah, I mean, just something that automates it.
I think we've got it to where it will work pretty good for that.
There's probably a lot of resources out there as well if you reach out to different municipalities with
Of course,
like
yeah.
things, and it's
Yeah,
like,
of course.
don't reinvent the wheel and go there, you know, and you may like certain things that you don't like about
Sure,
their
sure,
policies as well.
absolutely.
just
And
tweak
that's,
it.
you know, and that's why, you know, we're kind of thinking maybe an informal committee, just so we say, hey, is this worth looking at?
Right.
And if everyone says no, it's probably not worth looking at, and we don't want to waste the board's time with it. If everyone says yeah, or majority says yeah, let's take it through the park board, see what they think, you know?
right.
Because I have a feeling we are just gonna get hammered with people wanting to put on events once this.
One example is I had a few people approach me from an organization called Duper, and I actually got a call from the organization from Duper, which is a pickleball rating system that's becoming more and more popular. And I didn't know much about it, but as I looked into it and talked to other individuals, it really won't work for what we're doing with the city for various reasons. I can be happy to go into more details about it, but primarily they want to control all the funds, and it's like, okay, that's not going to work, guys.
Right.
You know, they've got their own app. They want to have people sign up on the app. They'll collect all the money, send the city their portion of the money, and keep $1 a player. And I said, well, how about this? I've got 120 people in my league. If I send you a check for $120, does that work? Oh, no, that doesn't work. I said, well, okay, it's just that obviously it's not something that we would be interested in participating in with those type of structure. But so there's some entrepreneurial minded organizations, and this one's nationwide. It's a big organization. It's just, I think that some of that stuff will require some people who are familiar with it.
Sure.
to, right, help vet it, I guess, if nothing else.
I mean, public-private partnerships exist.
Right.
In a management, role. Boy, I'd hate to get that wrong right out of the gate, though.
No, I agree.
Uh,
Well, and the thing of it is
Put
when we
yourself in a
start
pickle.
doing this,
Right.
we need clarification, updated, because the laws may have changed. If we can allow private organizations to do that and make money on publicly owned.
Yeah, that's why they have to enter into a partnership
Yep.
with nonprofit, or in our case, it would be the city
Right.
itself.
Right.
But, like I said, that's gonna require a lot of research and a lot of meetings.
Is there opportunity though for just sponsorships though? I mean, for people
There's
locally?
Always opportunities
That's,
for
well, that's what I'm
sponsorships.
saying.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there, I know people probably don't like to
Absolutely.
be, sometimes it is an eyesore once again for like, people seeing signs and stuff like that. But, I think there's a way that you could blend it in, so it's not so obnoxious and that, you could, I can think of some places around town that would, like to possibly,
Sure.
market, their business at
Sure.
the park and
We
stuff
do it at
like
the
that.
amphitheater.
Yeah, and just do some small scale stuff, and I think that, if it's on a revolving scale, an annual fee or whatever it is, then, you bring in some money that can offset some of the costs of these things, and, possibly they sponsor a tournament as well. and
I'm
just
kind
collect
of,
from
I'm kind
that.
of envisioning, at least initially, kind of something similar to what, like what they do at the baseball field.
Yeah.
For the high
Yeah.
school.
Or the football field.
Yeah, same
that
thing.
they've
Yeah,
got all those
and that's,
banners.
yeah, and then likewise, that's along my
Kind of
line
something,
of
that's,
thinking,
what I've
yeah.
been thinking in my head.
Yeah.
Something similar to that, where it's like an annual deal. Then, and of course, if we're gonna put on big tournaments and everything ourselves, and not just, rent the courts for a big tournament or whatever, of course, there's gonna be sponsorship opportunities there as well.
Yeah, and I think the more local you can keep that, the better, if you have some local businesses that are wanting to sponsor a type of tournament out there, rather than having some national World Cup or the pickleball league here or something, I don't know.
We'll,
Like this?
we'll pick ball too, right?
Yeah, there you go.
We'll see. I mean,
We need a dome over it, I'm telling you.
I didn't put him up to it.
We'll let you
I want to play year
take
round.
that
Come
out.
you know. So that's basically pickleball. Anything else to add?
I don't.
We're excited about the project.
Yeah.
It's consumed a lot of time. At the same time, we're moving quickly.
We are.
Because once it gets started, we're gonna have to order, once they start doing the actual construction, the
Yeah,
actual bathroom.
6 months lead time on the bathroom.
Is
Yeah.
6 months.
Okay.
So once that, we'll have to get that.
That'll be the first thing that gets ordered.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, for what I can say as far as speaking for the pickleball community, we appreciate the opportunity to have a voice in it. I did stop by the new courts that are being put off I-35 there's a Oak Ridge or Oak something, I don't know what it's called, right there by the Strouds. And they put 3 courts in there. MAC has put those in, but there's a number of issues. They got a 4-foot high fence all the way around it. One side's rip wrapped, and so when a ball goes over,
It's gone.
you're gonna go down and walk, well, here, you don't wanna lose so many balls for you to go get them. And it's just some little things like that. The courts are all one
4
solid
foot fence
color,
all the way around the perimeter.
3 sides of a
Oh,
4-foot
wow.
fence, and then they've got a retaining wall on one side. They got a 5.5-foot
We have people hit them
baseline.
over a 10-foot fence.
I know. I know. So I just think you'll see I don't think you'll hear a lot of people complaining about, unless we've missed something, about what the proposed drawings are.
In my mind, that's the biggest thing we want to avoid is
I know what you're
a group of pickleball people looking at it and saying, yuck, because right off the bat, like, why didn't they get with the local pickleball people? And so that's, we've heard that from a lot of communities after the fact that, we wanted to get with this, but for some reason or another, they didn't.
Right. And Liberty's currently trying to fix their
Right,
as well.
so why, why not?
So have you shown this to the majority of the pickleball people out there, or?
I've sent it to everybody who, yes, I mean, anybody who's had interest in it, I've
Right.
sent it to them. I've had people I didn't send it to come up and ask me for it and send it to them, yeah.
Okay.
There's been, I don't know, 40, 50 people probably
And you
received
can
this.
take our comments and notes and discuss with them further that we talked about today.
Yeah, that's a great filter to have.
Definitely.
We want to get it right. It's a big chunk of money. It's a very big project for a free
Like I
park
said,
staff.
I think we're probably pretty much done with changes, you know,
Sure.
and, we'll
But
see.
I will say, we have a very good track record with our projects.
Yep.
So you said
We want to keep that going.
groundbreaking is October-ish?
Well,
type of deal?
that was my best guesstimate.
Okay, so
Yeah.
nothing in,
We'll
No,
definitely let you
nothing
guys
in-
know well.
nothing in
advance.
concrete yet. Yeah, I got
Because
you.
we'll probably do a groundbreaking.
Yeah, we'll do a groundbreaking.
And then from initial groundbreaking to completion is,
They'll get us a contract on how many days, the architect will.
any guess though, or
No.
just no,
When
just,
we talked about it last time, they were talking, if we started in August, we might be done by April 15th with one of the things in that range with a huge holdover based off weather and
Yeah.
temperature conditions,
We're
because the sealed top coat requires.
we're not going to
temperature
comment
and all
on
that,
any
so-
of that
gotcha,
Yeah.
publicly, no.
gotcha.
There's no dates.
Show
that
the
can
colors.
be-
Can you
Yeah,
go to a website?
there's a lot of factors
Yeah.
involved, yeah, they've set
I'm
that
glad,
off.
you know.
Yeah, so that's part of it. When we get the, what was it called? Eric?
Gameco.
Gameco. I know we were just looking at it today. General acrylics, there it is. These colors are great. All right, so. And Lisa, can you see this or no? The colors?
I like that.
You're
That's-
muted.
Can I see the colors on the plan?
Okay, hold on.
Hold on a
I'm
second.
sharing
We're
it
gonna
on screen then. Share screen still.
It's like a bulldog purple.
Oh, now I can see the colors.
If you click that, it'll be,
So we're thinking this turny purple for the court itself, and then the kitchen be the Santa Fe teal.
Maybe.
And then I think we also had the medium green on the
Yep.
outside, right?
yep. And if you went back to that first, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, it'd be, yeah.
Mhm.
So
In
just
that
imagine this, and I'll actually do a mock-up here in the next couple days, but I'll put the teal in here.
Are we gonna have the palm trees too?
Yes.
I was gonna ask that.
So that's the other part, guys, we're all moving to California.
Extra
Oh.
Extra cost.
Yeah.
Palm trees.
I just like the chairs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was commenting on that earlier. I'm like, oh, they got a really nice court and $2 chairs.
That looks really great.
It looks good. I like the carny purple.
So that's, yeah, and I'm a really big fan of this teal. It's gonna look nice.
I am too, I like the teal.
Mhm.
So that's kind of it on pickleball.
Anything else on fall sports? You kind of touched on that.
Yeah, fall sports, like I said, we're the signups are going, everything's going great with that. We expect to start practicing third week in August, probably, fourth week in August. Games will start third week of September, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then run until they're done. And then we'll start basketball.
One thing I do need, before we adjourn is, since you ran the meeting, I need you to,
Sign the minutes.
sign for the minutes, and Julie, you're our secretary, so I need you to sign for the minutes.
Will do.
And I'll get you that copy.
All right.
Right. Any comments from questions?
Good job.
Thanks for all your work on the pickleball courts. That's a lot of work.
We're excited.
We are excited now that we get the paperwork taken care of and get that out of our
I
hair,
mean, now the fun part's starting.
then the fun part will start.
Construction phase is always my favorite part. It's also the most stressful.
All right?
Have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.